This is the Eye for an Eye channel. Welcome to today's show. I wanted to do a video on this topic regarding everybody's favorite demon, Billie Eilish. I've covered Billie Eilish before. Billie Eilish, of course, demonically possessed in her videos, his videos. Billie Eilish, of course, doing fallen angel symbolism all the time. Black goo, all-seeing eye symbolism all the time. It's the same stuff. All the celebrities, of course, do the same thing because they're all trained via the Tavistock Institute. So I wanted to do a video about this topic, and I'll cover Tavistock as well in the video, the Beatles, etc. They all come out of the Tavistock Institute for social engineering. That's really what the Tavistock Institute is. But Billie Eilish says that she's both physically attracted to and intimidated by women in a recent interview that Billie Eilish just did. Now, this is important because what you're going to start to see happen is the influencers that look and act like Billie Eilish, whether it's somebody like Pink or Billie Eilish, people along those lines who kind of come across as edgy. You're not really even sure what gender they even are. Because remember, they have to blur the lines and eliminate gender. It's part of the New World Order. There are no genders. And there are no straight people and gay people. Everybody will, as part of their plan, everybody will be, quote unquote, what you would refer to as bi in a sense, right? There's going to be no genders. There's going to be no boundary. There's going to be no restrictions, so to speak, even though these are all things that are proven scientifically. These are all things that are normal. They're trying to create the new inverted normal, which of course all goes into Satanism and the occult teachings of Aleister Crowley. It ties into the Baphomet. We know that. So I'm covering this topic not because anybody's really interested about what Billie Eilish is really into, because most people don't even know what gender Billie Eilish even is. But this is what you're going to start to see from celebrities. I talked about it in a recent video I did on even Kim Kardashian being on the cover. If you didn't see it, it's on my other channel. Kim Kardashian was named by GQ as the Man of the Year. If you're not familiar, it's my other channel's linked below, United Uprising. I uploaded it over there. You want to check it out. What they're going to start doing is taking these women who have a large following and they're going to invert them out publicly. Now, a lot of people have covered the fact that a lot of these people aren't the gender that they claim to be. Okay, but they haven't covered the fact that psychologically what they're trying to do is take straight men and convince them that they're not straight. So by telling you that Kim Kardashian's Man of the Year, Kim Kardashian has not announced that she's a man, but they've named Kim Kardashian Man of the Year. And it's crazy I'm even using a sentence saying announcing being a Man of the Year because, you're never really allowed to choose. You're born with what you're born with. But they want to make it that way, of course, by design. So these people are going to come out and then they're going to start blurring the lines more where they say, well, you were attracted to this woman, right? You were attracted to Kim Kardashian your entire life. Kim Kardashian came out as a man. What's the big deal? So you're attracted to men. And you're like, wait, what? Huh? Right? Oh, yeah, I guess I am attracted to men if if Kim Kardashian's a man. So they're going to do the same stuff with Billie Eilish is what I'm getting at. And other celebrities. You're going to start seeing them as well flip who they are and aren't attracted to. We saw Miley Cyrus, the virus, do it. They're all going to do it. They're all going to come out and do stuff like this. This is how they do subliminal mind control. All right, so Billie Eilish, nobody's known what gender, what Billie Eilish is, but everybody has assumed that Billie Eilish was straight because Billie Eilish had boyfriends, etc. But Billie Eilish, even though having boyfriends, is telling you that Billie Eilish is attracted to women and also intimidated by women as well, right? So these are subliminal things that they're going to start inserting. This is how they've gotten our society the way they have, is because people worship these celebrities. They get so invested in them, who they're dating, what their fads are, how they dress, etc. They can start to manipulate their behavior. This is done through Tavistock Institute. This is done through a lot of the institutes where you think that these places are, oh, what is that? The Tavistock Institute. These are places that they perform mind control experiments on human beings. Specifically at Tavistock, the whole purpose of it has been for social engineering. The Beatles came out of Tavistock. All these mainstream celebrities come through Tavistock, or at least are trained with the same philosophies as Tavistock, okay? And Tavistock is where this entire gender identity thing has come from, this confusion and stuff, through the experiments they've done there and the implementation in our society through social engineering. They've now convinced people that they're the opposite gender, that this makes you this gender, that makes you that. And of course, this goes to back to GIDS, which is the Gender Identity Development Service that clinic was run at Tavistock and Portman, the NHS Foundation Trust in North London. So what we're going to start seeing is a lot of these celebrities flip-flopping on what they once were. And we've seen it over the years. We've seen here and there some of these psychopaths declaring themselves pansexual, like Miley Cyrus. We've seen a lot of stuff like that over the years. It's going to be more and more normalized. There's going to be a total confusion occurring with all these celebrities. They're all going to be on board They're all going to be doing stuff. And then you have the other aspect of it, and I'll get into the Eilish article in a second here. The other aspect of it is a lot of the celebrities and how they raise their children. No one's suspicious as to why the majority of these celebrities have children who have flipped genders. They don't think that this is forced on them. It's forced on those children through a lot of different things that happen underground called trauma-based, mind control. Okay, it starts with an S, ends with Tannic. Okay, they don't like you to say that because they don't want you to associate the two. But it's not a coincidence that people like Megan Fox and Pink and Justin, all these celebrities, their kids just flip because they want to make it seem like it's more normal. So they get their orders from the higher ups who tell them to do this stuff, and then they do their social engineering strategy, which it's all been trained to them. They're no different than an operative. That's what they are. They're intel operatives. But they're put in front of us like, oh, they're celebrities, they're talented, they do this, they do that. And then they influence the behavior of society, as we all know. So we're going to see those three things happening. We're going to see a lot of these celebrities who are looked at, the female specifically, as very, very attractive, right? Oh, it's so beautiful. Kim Kardashian, we're told is so beautiful over and over again. And then they come out, they start doing little subtle things like man of the year, Kim Kardashian. I don't get it. It's to remove boundaries, right? The second thing we're going to see is a lot of these celebrities start coming out as being attracted to the opposite gender without having to say that they are or aren't one, because there's going to be none. You're not going to be straight and you're not going to be gay. It's going to be none. Okay? Everything is just going to be a oneness. So that's the next thing. And then on top of that, all of these people, how they raise their children, etc., it's going to be the new norm. You're going to see it more often because people are influenced by the celebrities, and that's why all the celebrities suddenly, Will Smith, I mean, I can go on and on. How many celebrities have suddenly, right? Nobody sees it really going on around them, but it starts to spread. That's how all of this is spread. It's all spread through mind control. It's all spread through institutions like the Tavistock Institution, okay? And then it's all spread through celebrities because Beatles, all these people came out of there. They were social experiments. The Beatles were a social experiment to see how their influence could influence a society, right? Now, you can look at it, you're like, oh, that's not true. I like the Beatles' music, this and that. Well, step away from that, okay? Before the Beatles, there wasn't musicians that were pushed out into the public like they were, who then became what? Sex symbols, them, Elvis, etc., right? Then they start influencing people's behavior. Why do you think the Beatles had so many tie-ins? And you can look up the Beatles yourself. I've done videos on them in the past where you could see the Beatles with 666 symbol, all-seeing eye symbol, the lyrics in their songs, right? The world will live as one from John Lennon. It goes on and on and on. This is all embedded in them through Tavistock, and that's why they're famous and rich, and that's why they become what they become. They're operatives, okay? And their job is to influence your behavior. So what Billie Eilish is going to do here is flip the switch even more and then have people like this who have large followings. Billie Eilish has a large following and a specific demographic that follows Billie Eilish. So she's going to come out and do stuff like this. Billie Eilish shared that she is physically attracted to women in a new interview after enduring years of often invasive speculation over her sexuality. The Grammy and Oscar-winning singer-songwriter casually revealed the detail in an interview published Monday with the entertainment trade publication Variety, in which she discussed her relationships with women more generally. She said, quote, "I've never really felt like I could relate to girls very well. I love them so much. I love them as people. I'm attracted to them as people. I'm attracted to them for real." I mean, listen to this language that these people speak. I mean, and these people are talking about the younger generations who have been just completely put under a spell and a hypnosis. I feel attracted to them for real. Huh? What are you even talking about? Oh, you're attracted to women. Then why do you date men? Oh, I'm attracted to men too. Oh, right, because nobody could see what this leads towards. It's the removal of all. Baphomet, one gender, one religion, one world order. Always remember that. The New World Order, we hear everyone spewing about it's a one world order. Everything is one. It's oneness, right? And that includes it's all merged and mushed together. So you're not, again, straight or gay. They need to convince you of this, though. So they do these types of operations where you just think it's like casually Billie Eilish admitting she's attracted to women, but doesn't say she's gay. Oh, so-and-so's kids are trans. This is an operation. It's a psychological one. You hear this stuff and you're like, oh, wow, Variety or People Magazine are covering this celebrity this weekend. This is what's going on in their life. And it's always all these same agendas, right? But that's how psychological operations work. You think that you're passively seeing this stuff, and this is really what's happening in reality. They're grooming you. They're grooming your behavior. They're grooming what you should and should not accept. And that's what the influence of the celebrity is about. That's why they're so important in this New World Order structure. That's why I've always covered it. And I continue to cover it because I feel for the children out there, the teenagers too. Even the teenagers who come over here and rip me and say stuff and flag me, etc. I feel for them because they're under hypnosis, okay? So I understand they know not what they do. They don't understand what's going on. They think that this is them. They don't realize that it's not them. These are all things that are being pushed onto them. These things they call fads, these feelings that they're convincing them of this through persuasion with celebrities, persuasion with entertainment, the entertainment industry, the magazines, the publications, the movies, etc. And it continues on and on and on. So let me continue here with Billie, our buddy Billie. Oh boy. Anyway, Billie continued, I have deep connections with women in my life, the friends in my life, the family in my life. I'm physically attracted to them, but I'm also so intimidated by them and their beauty and their presence. Eilish's choice to share the personal details should hopefully put an end to any accusations of, I can't say the word, it's something to do with fudge packing, a term coined to describe fictional characters being used to tease the LG audiences, not real people exploring their sexuality. The singer notably faced baiting. It's something baiting. Allegations in June 2021 after a music video, Lost Cause, featured her and several girls being flirtatious at a slumber party. So if you're listening to this, before I continue on, all it is, it's a mass confusion. That's what it is. Because you're probably hearing this like, I don't even understand. What is flame baiting? What are these terms that these people are using? It's a giant cluster of confusion, and that's the point. That's the entire point. It's a confusion here, it's a confusion there. It gets to the point of total exhaustion where they say, who cares anymore about any of this stuff as far as restrictions go? Who cares what I'm born as? Who cares what you're attracted? Who cares? We're all attracted to all. We're attracted to whoever we want to be attracted to. It's the removal of all boundaries, right? It's the removal of everything that God created. And they are using confusion to do this. And that's all that this stuff is. It's confusion because you read these articles and no, they don't make sense. And young teens out there are like, it makes sense to me. It makes sense to you because you're confused. And they've made you confused. This is not normal, sensical stuff. This is nonsensical. This is nonsense. Okay? So the 21-year-old artist also opened up to Variety about her own discomfort with being sexualized. Oof. Who's sexualizing this? Ugh. Asked about her wardrobe of oversized t-shirts, Eilish responded, I didn't want people to have access to my body, even visually. I wasn't strong enough and secure enough to show it. Maybe not. My not really caring about being sexualized is because I never felt desired or desirable. This is deliberately being said. This is trained to her to say. This is how they're making kids think about themselves. This is how kids are reflecting on things, right? Oh, she's wearing oversized shirt. These are all things in life that don't matter. The Bible specifically talks about, worry not about what you wear, etc., right? What people should be worrying about is food and water and how they're going to have heat. Basic necessities that we take for granted. This is what people are worrying about. So when they usher in the New World Order, they're going to continue to confuse you with things like this, right? While people are like, oh, don't worry about, you got to go to the FEMA camp to get food and water. They'll take care of you there. Their concerns are things that should never be concerns in anyone's life. Nobody sits back and goes, hey, were they dealing with this stuff 100 years ago? And they're like, no. What are they saying? Oh, because we're more sensitive now. This is all by design. They're making you this way by design so that they can implement their full-on power and control over society. They're distracting you with things that don't make sense, with nonsense here, nonsense there. They're making you think this about yourself when it's not really happening. They're confusing everything. Reminds me of the Tower of Babel, right? Babel, confusion, got into confused. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible that people actually have a mindset like this. But again, I feel sympathy because this is how Tavistock and our governments work. They experiment on the mind and then they unleash it on the masses and they do it subvertly. They do it through celebrities. They do it through persuasion. They do it through things like this article where you're reading these things and they're absorbing your mind. You don't feel like it's being forced on you. You're like, oh, that's Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish is into this. Billie Eilish is into that. Oh, that's very interesting about Billie Eilish. Thank you. This is done by design. Sorry, there was a video commercial just loaded. I think one of my premieres is going on while I'm recording this. So it just loaded in the background and put a commercial up. So anyway, I'm not going to edit that out because I was in the middle of a rant. Understand this. Okay, your brain is like view your brain. And I know a lot of you already understand this, but it's important to always think like this because every day we all get sucked into this stuff in our day-to-day life, no matter what we're doing, right? We're not always thinking. Like we can all go into autopilot and just go through the motions. Your brain is a sponge. They're always 24/7 trying to mold and manipulate it at a young age. And when you're an adult, they're trying to herd you like sheep. They're trying to pull you, persuade you, tell you what a new normal is. And even if you're fighting against it, they know that when you get to a point of being beaten down or worn out by it, that you're just going to go, you know what? I guess that's just the way it is now. Might as well throw in the towel. And I've said it a million times and I'll say it again, right? We've all been guilty of this, right? We let a certain group of people suddenly get married, right? We were all like, all right, I guess whatever, let them get married. And now look what we're at, right? Give them an inch, they take a mile. And they're taking miles and miles and miles. But they're not done taking because this thing is in full throttle. Their feet are on the pedal, not their foot. Their feet are on the pedal. And they are going after the children and using these agents to do these things, right? No, Billie Eilish, oh, she's still, is that what they're saying? She's still trying to figure out what she is and this or that. Everybody's being confused because these people are the provocateurs of confusion. They're the ones pushing this stuff. And eventually it's all going to be wiped out, okay? It's all going to be just the new norm. You're supposed to accept it. You have to accept it. This is this. Men are now, oh, these celebrities have changed their genders. They've changed what they're attracted to. You should change. You should feel this way. And they just use it over and over and over, 24/7 on you, okay? Break the spell. Snap out of the spell. These people should all be arrested. The citizens' arrest should be made on. And they know what they're doing. Don't act like they don't. The celebrities get a pass even from the people who are awake. They're like, well, they're not really in power. Yeah, they're not in power, but they have power. They wield power. They wield more power than the politicians wield. Now, the politicians are puppets too. They're pretending they're showing up there and they're doing this and that and passing bills and all that. It all comes from even above them, okay? They don't have the influence over people's minds. Nobody cares what Ted Cruz is doing and this or that. I mean, they're making them more prominent in our society, the politicians. They're becoming celebrities, but not like these people. They're the ones, and they have to mold the minds of the youth. The youth aren't caring what Ted Cruz or what Lauren Boebert or any of these psychopaths in Congress are doing. The youth care about what Billie Eilish is doing. They care about what Kim Kardashian is doing. They care about what Pink is doing. Maybe not Pink, but any of these, bands, musicians, etc. So they're being influenced and persuaded. Now, I know you all know that, but I need to cover it because when we see this stuff like Billie Eilish, understand this. They're all going to start coming forward with this stuff. They're all going to be inverting themselves, flipping themselves, telling you that one person, well, Kim Kardashian was this, now Kim Kardashian, that person, and then you're going to be confused as a straight person. You're like, I was attracted to this person. Now I find out that the person's really a man. I guess I really am gay. I don't know what's going on anymore. I can't take it anymore. They're doing it by design. Frying of the human mind. Okay? And you can thank Tavistock for it. They're the ones responsible for all. And I shouldn't say they're the ones responsible because you can say Satanists because these are all institutions of the devil. Tavistock, the CIA, the FDA, all of them. And you can't even name them because it's like, algorithm will go nuts, haywire if you name, which ones specifically, right? WH, you know what? CD, you know what? They don't want you even mentioning those. So these stories are important from that standpoint. I wanted to do a rant about it because you're going to see these things again, and you could look at them and you can go, oh, well, Billie Eilish looks the part. Maybe she doesn't really know, right? Because they're the ones who implement these stereotypes in your head about what a straight person's supposed to look like, what blah, blah, blah. They're doing all of it. It's all part of their huge herding mechanism. And if we broke away from the tech, society would break away from the mind control. But they don't believe that the mind control is going on. They're too narcissistic to believe it. They don't believe that stories like this are subliminally planted to affect their behavior and how they think and perceive things. But they are. Reminder, sub to my other channels now if you haven't yet. They're linked below. United Uprising. Again, I mentioned that Kim Kardashian video. I'll have that linked below. Go check it out if you haven't seen it yet about being the man of the year. And subscribe while you're over there. That's where I'm going to mix content. I might even do live streams over on that channel to build it out. So I'm going to go back and forth. So make sure you're sub to it so you don't miss out on any content. A lot of you missed out on a week's worth of content last week. It's all over there. So go binge watch it or whatever you like to do. A lot of great stuff. I thank everyone for being here. Hope you're all well. God bless you as always and your families.